Welcome to those of you tuning into this live presentation. My name is Amista Bennett, and I am here to just say hi, let the world know that I'm out here, that I'm available. I do offer private readings either online or on the phone, and right now we're just going to show a little sample of my work so that you guys can figure out, am I somebody you would want to connect with or not? So the first thing that we're going to look at actually is going to be our best manifestation advice over the next 24 hours. And we'll see what that is. So those of you tuning in, feel free to look at or think about, focus on what is it that you want to manifest right now. And as you focus on that, I'm going to be shuffling the cards. And we'll put some down here in just a second and see what shows up for best advice. And those of you stumbling across this video later, you can still do the same thing because Spirit is not limited by time or by space. That's what's beautiful about working with Spirit. Okay, let's take a peek. All right. Hello there, Show Empathy. Welcome back. Okay, so right now we're just doing the manifestation advice spread. So I've just gotten here and we're looking at what comes up for the next 24 hours as advice to manifest is the wood word showing up in reverse, followed by 5 of vessels. Thank you for the thumbs up. Followed by the pole star in reverse. So this is really interesting because it tells me that there's something going on where we're not exactly sure. Maybe we're not sure what it is that we want to manifest, or maybe we know what we want to manifest, but we don't exactly know how to get there with that pole star in reverse. The very first card, this woodward showing up in reverse, and by the way, this is my Wildwood Tarot deck. My woodward in reverse says we're not making any decisions right now. We're withholding judgment, actually, at this point. So we're not making any judgments against anybody, for anybody, against ourselves, for ourselves. We're not beating ourselves up, but we're kind of withholding judgment. And a lot of times when we're withholding judgment, it's because we don't have enough information to make that judgment. Or maybe it's not our place to make that judgment. But the bottom line here is withhold judgment. Don't try to be moving forward and making judgments right now. Now, the next bit of advice that we have, very interesting. I don't see this advice come up very often. The 5 of vessels. In this deck, it labels it as ecstasy. And when you read the book about this card, it talks about an old shamanistic tradition about ingesting something that takes you into this ecstatic state where you can get messages from spirit or plants or something. I don't remember exactly. It's been like, I think I read this book in like 2012, okay? I haven't reread it. But anyway, it's by, you're having this ecstatic experience by, putting something into your body that is going to change your state of consciousness. So for me, I call this false ecstasy. It's fake ecstasy. It's not real. And so when I see this card, I know that we're pasting on a smile and pretending that everything is okay. False ecstasy. We're pretending everything is okay when really inside it's chewing us up. It's really not. But this is coming up as our advice for manifesting over the next 24 hours. I think it's really interesting. It's definitely not the advice that I would expect. I don't know that how many life coaches would give you this advice. Hold back. Withhold judgment. Don't make any judgments. Pretend everything's fine and be observant. Watch what's going on if you pretend that everything is fine just the way it is. I really think we're being advised not to chop someone's ideas down right away. Maybe we don't even like those ideas, but just watch and see where they're leading or what this person is doing or why they're motivated. But we're being observant about this situation even though very likely we're not very thrilled about it. All right. And then with this pole star coming in upside down, this says that once we've actually watched and observed and kind of gone along with the game for long enough to see what's the real deal, well, now our sense of direction is changing. Whatever information that has brought up has changed our sense of direction and what we actually want to do to accomplish whatever we're trying to manifest. So, in this next 24 hours, it's going to be really important to put ourselves in a position where we can observe without trying to extend our influence into the situation. So basically, we can see somebody's true colors, is what it looks like to me. Hello there, Cheryl. Good afternoon. Interesting cards. All right, so it looks like we've got 4 in the room. I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 8, and whoever puts that number in the chat first is going to be the first person that I read for today. Number between 1 and 8. 3. Cheryl. You're back to your usual self. Cheryl Ford already got it with that 3. Show empathy right next door at 4. All right, Cheryl, do you have a specific question for me today, or do you want a message from Spirit? Everybody else, keep your eyes open for a piggyback message. Message from Spirit, she's already said. She knows my routine. How are you guys doing today? Now that I'm not in the middle of reading, I can ask you stuff like that. All right, Cheryl Ford. Glad to hear that you are okay. I am fantastic, thank you. I got my newsletter that comes out today finished up last night at like 2 in the morning. And today I want to get my newsletters put together for while I'm out of town. After we do this, I'm feeling pretty good. Getting stuff taken care of. And if you're not signed up to my newsletter, you're not going to want to miss that. You can do that on my website, which is in the description box below. Cheryl. Okay, my dear. You have the 8 of Stones showing up here, which to me talks about this idea of work, and especially see that handprint on the wall in the cave. This is customized work, all right? So it does talk about the idea of doing some kind of work that it has your flavor on it, has your customization on it. This isn't work like at the assembly line, okay? Now, that is covered by the 6 of arrows showing up in reverse. So this is telling me something about working in a different location than normal. Is that it? You may have been doing something actually for work in a different location than normal, and now you're bringing it back to the usual location. So this applies if you work for somebody else, but this can also apply if you don't have what we call a job or a company. You know, this can be work that maybe you normally do things around the house and that's your work. And maybe you went and helped somebody else with something going on. Maybe you helped somebody else move or something like that. So now this talks about coming back to your normal place of work. Now let's look at best advice or heads up. Around this situation, we have our journey card in reverse, which is an interesting card. We also have the 3 of chalices. In this deck, it's labeled as joy. Trying to get away from the glare there. Hello there, Layla. How are you doing today, honey? All right, and we have our Knight of Stones, or our horse. So this is interesting how this comes up. This says that whatever work you're coming back to hasn't changed much while you were gone. Pretty much stayed the same. There's no transition there. Okay. Three of Pentacles just tells me that you're happy to see the people that you normally see, or they're happy to see you back in your sphere. And the Knight of Stones just talks about making slow and steady progress with whatever this work is that is back in your normal place. I hope that makes sense for you. Do, 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 do. It's one thing to read for somebody across the table and you can tell by their body language if they understand what you're saying or not. It's a whole different thing to read to the camera and just hope the other person is understanding and seeing how it fits in their life. All right, so let's see. How many people do we have in the room? Thank you for those thumbs ups. We've got 5 people in the room. I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 10. And I've got it circled right now. Whoever puts that number in the chat first will be the next one that I read for. Do, 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 do. 2 is not it. Number between 1 and 10. 5 is not it. You are quite welcome. Okay, I want to know, what was going on there? How did that actually fit into your life more specifically than the general reading? Inquiring minds want to know, because that helps me to understand my cards better whenever I know the specifics. 9 is not it. Show empathy. You got it, honey bunny. So show empathy. First of all, what's your first name? I like to have first names when I read. And then tell me if you have a specific question for me or if you want a message from Spirit today. Also, if it's stuff that we can share, then this is a way for everybody in the room to kind of get to know each other. We'll all end up finding out we have a lot more in common with each other than we know usually. Eliza, I love that. That is such an old school name, Eliza. This tells me you have a very strong personality and very independent as well. Any spirit message in regard to love? Okay, so here's the deal. My messages from Spirit, I don't pick the topic. I let them talk to you about whatever they want to talk to you about. But if you want to ask a specific question about love, we can ask a specific question. You just have to tell me which way you want to go. A message from Spirit where it's just completely whatever Spirit wants, or if you have a specific question about love, but I don't combine them. Happy to answer a specific question, but we're not going to call that the message from Spirit or what Spirit is on Spirit's mind. Okay, so message from Spirit for Eliza. Everybody else, be on the lookout for a piggyback message. For those of you who don't know, a piggyback message is just one that, even though I'm pulling for Eliza, if you start to notice that it's resonating with you, then that message is probably yours as well. We call that a piggyback. It's riding on the piggyback of Eliza's. And if it is resonating for you, then you want to make good use of that message in your life. Don't let it go to waste. However, if it's not a piggyback message for you, or if it's not resonating for you, please don't try to stretch it out, scrunch it up, throw it in the dryer, or run over it to make it fit. Just kick your feet back on the coffee table and see if the next one fits better. Eliza. Here we go. Boop-a-doo-doo-doo. Boop-a-doo-doo. All right, guys, let's see. Let's see. I think I'm going to do me next. Spirit is telling me I should do me next. I usually don't do me in a public place. We'll see what shows up. Eliza, what do we have for you? We have the stag. Now, is this Eliza or somebody in her sphere of influence? This tells me about somebody that you're interacting with, and this is somebody who has some type of authority in your life. This can be a significant other. Sometimes it's a boss, a landlord, a mentor, a parent, but somebody who has some kind of authority in your life. And this person that I'm seeing that has authority in your life is somebody who also has a lot of integrity. They have very high standards. They expect people to act up to those standards. However, they expect themselves to live up to those standards as well. So they don't ask anybody to do anything that they wouldn't do, but their standards are very high. Now, this person that I see you interacting with, they're somebody that, as long as you live up to their standards or communicate, if there's something going on that you can't, you're going to get along just great with them. However, if you do not, there will be trouble, and it won't be underhanded or passive aggressive. You will know. This person will be very clear about what's happening. Okay. Now, what do we have crossing that? Let's take a peek. We have our Ace of Vessels in reverse crossing that. This talks about the idea that there is a departure from the presence of this person. So maybe this person is departing, or maybe you are departing from this person's presence. All right, maybe you're starting a new job and this is your boss, and now you won't be interacting with this person anymore, or you're moving to a different department. Or maybe this is your significant other, and maybe they're going away on a business trip for a few days. But there's some kind of departure here from this leadership person that we have in your sphere of influence. That's what we know so far. Now, what's your best advice or heads up around this? Hello there, Kelly. Welcome, welcome. What we have showing up around this is the green man, followed by the great bear in reverse, followed by the two of vessels, also in reverse. So this departure from this authority figure or this person that had influence in your life. When we have the green man coming up, first off, for our advice or our heads up, with it, we're looking at somebody else here, very similar to who we saw with the stag. This is somebody who has integrity. It can easily be a significant other. I see that commonly. And I'm going to tell you that this is my favorite card for a significant other right here. So we may be looking at the same person as we're looking at in our topic. So this person is somebody also who has great integrity. And this is somebody who likes to be the provider, likes to be the supporter, likes to be the protector. Usually they're not overly protective, but they do have some protective instincts in them. Okay. So this would be like the old school ideal type of husband or partner or significant other. All right. So we have that person showing up. I think that person is showing up again. There is something going on here with this person, with our great bear card coming up in reverse. This is telling me that whether this person is the same person as we saw before or a different one, this person has a second chance at something that they used to put their energies and efforts into. That second chance does arrive. Okay, with this card. However, when this card comes up in reverse, even though that second chance definitely shows up, this person does not take it. And they don't take it because they know that what they have in current time is better than what they had in the past. And so they're not going to go back to that thing from the past. Okay? They're not going to be mad about it coming back up, but they're not going to go back to it either. It's not appropriate for them anymore. It doesn't make sense. Now, here's the other thing that shows up here. We've got a two of vessels coming up in reverse. Not only does this other person know that they've got something better and they're going on in their life right now, also, whatever this is from the past where they used to be drawn into it, now they're not attracted to it at all anymore. they'd rather not even interact with this person or interact with this situation anymore. Okay? So I'm going to say what this looks like to me is this looks like either you or this person kind of took a step back, kind of went, whoa, let me just step back from this for a minute. Let me step back from each other. There's a little bit of a idea of time away from each other. And it looks to me like this is either all about or because or during this time away, here's your green man, had a chance to put his energy and efforts into something from the past and said no. And said no because it doesn't even draw him anymore. Plus, he's got something just better now. Hope that makes sense for you. Hello there, Dorella. He is like that high integrity, huh? He would have finished it. He would have not even let it get started. Like somebody may have shown up, but he would have been like, no, thank you. Maybe he wouldn't have been that polite about it. I don't know. But with the kind of integrity he has, it looks, I would say that he's trying hard not to hurt anybody's feelings in the situation, but he's also, he has no interest in getting back into the old thing. I don't really have them going back to anything old. So I hope that helps you have some clarity there. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Dorella. Callie's life. Hello, hello. That's awesome. Good job, my friend. Okay, guys. I said I need to do one for me. I don't know why Spirit wants me to do one for me in public. Maybe because I don't sit down and do one for me whenever I'm not in public. Let's see what shows up. And then we're going to do a reading for somebody else. Yes, you will, Dorella. Not long before, though. Okay, guys, I'm going to share with you what I get. This is a little hairy. Tell you what, this is a little hairy. I don't normally share these things. In fact, I tell people when they come to me for readings, a lot of times two people will come in together and they want a reading together where they're both there. And I'll be like, look, if you have no secrets from anybody, that's great. But anything can come up. Are you sure you want this person sitting with you? All right, so what do I have? By the way, same thing, piggyback, guys. If you guys have a piggyback, please make good use of it. Two of Vessels, attraction. So this is someone or something that I'm attracted to. We'll have to get more information for me to figure out where this fits in my life. I kind of might have a hint here, but I'm not sure. Page of Vessels in reverse. This basically says that somebody that I'm attracted to, this is talking about the idea of letting them know how important they are to me in my life. Now, I am going back to visit family. I'm leaving here on Thursday. I'm actually visiting two families. I have my biological family and I have my surrogate family. So that could be, excuse me, that could be a whole lot of things. Now, Dorella, you got your message, right? Let's see. I just saw you pull your question away. Let's see. best advice or heads up around this. Seven of Arrows talks about when it's right side up, it talks about insecurity. And to be honest, I do have a lot of insecurity about being around my biological family. I mean, we put the dis in dysfunctional. So this is the longest time I've ever spent back in that state. And I've been a little bit worried about what am I going to do? How is this going to turn out? Oh my gosh. A little overwhelmed by just the idea of that much time. But that was the time Spirit told me to spend. So Spirit's basically telling me, don't be insecure about this situation. Green Woman in reverse. I think this talks about like some of the codependency that went on in my family. And this talks about, it's there. It's not enough to make you feel insecure. It's not something that should make you feel insecure at this point, Amista. It's there. And look at this. Six of Vessels in reverse. This talks about when it's right side up, it talks about reunion. When it's this way, it talks about going back away. So just kind of remembering this is only temporary, even though it's longer than I've been there before. It is only temporary. I am going to be coming back here. And that's a direct answer to something that I've been wondering, because my dad's been having some health issues, and I was kind of thinking, man, maybe I should actually move back there. And what does that look like? So this basically is Spirit saying, don't be so insecure about what's happening there, and know that you're not going to stay there forever. You are coming back to your normal life back here in Colorado. So, whew. I don't know if that was a piggyback on that for anybody, but I can tell you that helped me. How many people do we have in the room? 5 with 7 thumbs ups. Thank you for all the thumbs ups, guys. I'm picking a number between 1 and 10, and I'm writing it down and circling it right now. Whoever puts that in the chat next is going to be the next person that I read for. Number between 1 and 10. That was a relief, actually. Okay, so 6 is not it. 8 is not it. 4 is not it. 3 is not it. 3 is not it again. 1 is not it. Let's see. 8 is not it. 9. Dorella. Okay, Dorella. Do you want a message from Spirit, or do you have a specific question for me today? And we already answered the one about Tony's mom. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. So while Dorella is writing, I'm going to tell you guys that I do live readings online or on the phone, whatever works for you. 30 minutes is $100, 45 is $150, and 60 minutes is $200. And I offer a bunch of other services as well. You want to check out my website to see what all of that is about. Is Tony going to try to keep... Well, we already know he's not going to keep you away from her, because you're going to meet her right before she passes, because I already told you that. So we're not going to ask if he's going to keep you away, because obviously he won't. We can ask if he's going to try to keep you away from her. Remind me where you're watching from too, Dorella. I've forgotten. I feel like you told me, but I've forgotten what you told me that location was. Will Tony keep her? Will Tony try to keep her from meeting his mom? Boopity-doo-doo, boopity-doo, boopity-doo. Ooh. I don't think that he will try to. Here's what I do think. I think he wishes he could keep you from meeting her because he's worried about how she would behave or how things that she would say. He's worried about her not being kind. New York. Okay. Thank you for that. But yeah, I mean, he's not going to try to keep you from meeting her, but he is worried. It looks to me like first of all, he really wants to shelter you. He sees you as being this bright, sunshiny energy that is just, very optimistic and has such a good outlook. And then we've got her coming up here. And from this card, I can't say that this is actually on the card. This is more psychically what I'm picking up. This feels very sharp. Like if we could make her beak into a razor blade, that would probably be more accurate. Like her words could be very cutting. And I actually, man, I hate to say this, but I actually heard the B word. He's afraid that she's going to be a B word. Now, is this very realistic? Would she really do this? I don't know. This is his perception. Okay. This is what he's worried about. That's what he's worried about. And like I said, like we're just looking at his perception when we ask if he's going to try to keep you from meeting her. He wishes that he could try to keep you from meeting her. I don't think he feels like that's very a real possibility. But he kind of wishes that he could shelter you from her because he really appreciates your personality the way it is. Hello there, Narina. Welcome. All right, so we've got 6 people in the room. I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 12 and 7 thumbs ups. Thank you, guys. I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 12. Whoever guesses that number first and puts or intuits that number first and puts it in the chat box will be the next person I read for. Number between 1 and 12. Hello there, Joe. Hi. 10 is not it. 4 is not it. 11 is it. So I'm calling you Joe. I hope I'm saying that right. Do you have a question for me today, or do you want a message from Spirit? All right, type your question in the chat box, my friend. How's everybody doing today? We've got a rash of new people all coming in at the same time. How is everybody today? When you guys see me looking off to the side like that, that's because I'm looking at the chat. Please don't feel like I'm ignoring you. I'm looking at what you're saying. By the way, if you're not subscribed, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you catch me next time I go live. Okay, well, I like it. Having a nice afternoon sounds great. Ah, Narina, I bet you I know what site that was. I am glad you're here. I'm never there anymore. I'm doing good. Thank you. When am I going live next? Tomorrow, sometime. I have Uranus in my 6th house, guys, so I really make no apologies for the fact that I don't set a schedule for myself. I do terrible with the schedule. If I would set a schedule for myself and tell you guys what time I would be here, I would be sure to be at least half an hour late just because that's how my life works. So I don't really set a schedule. I just plan on, if I'm not doing other things that are taking me away, I try to be here every day that I can. So I'll be here sometime tomorrow. That's the bottom line. Okay, so Joe had a question. Will I get a girlfriend in the next couple of months? Well, let's look at your love life over the next couple of months in general. Will Joe have, show me Joe's love life over the next couple of months, please. What should Joe expect? What should Joe expect? Wow. Wow. You're having a time right now, honey. All right. Let's look at this. First of all, we have the Lovers showing up in reverse. This talks about the idea that whoever you have been partnered up with, that's kind of come apart at the seams. And that may be why you're asking me about the girlfriend, is because something just split apart at the seams. And this would be very recently, maybe even like last night or this morning. But right now, you're still kind of in the throes of that. Okay. Now, guess what? 5 of Arrows is frustration. This is just, I'm going to say this is, we're not looking at a girlfriend yet. I've got 5 cards down to look at the next 2 months. So this is a week or 2. Maybe a little more than a couple weeks. There's just frustration here. Like whatever you're trying to do about a girlfriend is not going the direction you want it. Whether you're trying to focus on whoever this was or whether you're trying to focus on a new one, we've just got frustration there. We have the Page of Vessels showing up about a month from now. This is somebody telling you how important you are to them. It may be the person, it may be this person resurfacing. I'm not sure about that. Actually, let's see if that's that same person. Hello there. Welcome back, Anna. I want to see if this is the same person or a new person. Dang it, I thought so. What? Why are you coming back? Man, they're coming back with really crappy intentions, man. Looks to me like they're all messed up in the head when they come back and say how important you are to them. They're coming back with not the best intentions. And look, you were going to know it because you're feeling really insecure about this idea that they've even come back. You're like, what? You told me blah, blah, blah. And now you're saying blah, blah, blah. This does not make sense. There's missing information. The missing information is this person screwed up in the head. They're not really coming back with great intentions. It's making you feel really insecure because you can kind of feel what's up. Even though you think you want to be with this person, you can kind of feel what's up with this. The problem is, by the time we get 2 months out, you've got the King of Stones in reverse. This is somebody that's trying to let go of something that they know perfectly well is appropriate to let go of, but for whatever reason having problems doing that. So this is a problem. This is one of those problem relationships. It's kind of toxic. It's not hugely toxic. I don't have the Devil card here, but it's giving you trouble with actually letting go of it when it is actually appropriate to let go of it. And part of the reason it's giving you trouble is because you've got this person back saying, well, maybe we could try again. But they don't really have that good of intentions when they come back. It may be about like the ego hit for them to say, oh yes, this person would take me back, more than it is about genuinely trying to rebuild the relationship. So for the next couple of months, the way the energy sits right now, but here's the thing, remember, we like to get these readings ahead of time because we have free will. That means we can change how this outcome comes out. So you don't have to react to her in the same way because you've got some information now that you didn't have before, or at least some verification of some information that you were afraid to trust from your own intuition before. Now you can trust it and you can do some things a little bit differently. that'll change that outcome. Let's see. Debbie Hancock, glad to see you here, honey bunny. It's still a grind. I mean, healing process is not always overnight, especially if you're entangled with somebody who is a little bit manipulative, and this person does look a little manipulative. All right, we've got 8 in the room. I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 16 and put a circle around it. Whoever puts that number in the chat first will be the next person I read for. You guys try and tap in and use your intuition. Don't just wildly guess. See if your intuition can help you. This is a great way to practice it. 8 is not it. 11 is not it. 13 is it. Debbie Hancock. Look at you just walking in the door and taking it away. All right, Debbie. Do you want a message from Spirit, or do you have a specific question for me today? Those of you who want to make sure that you catch any more live streams like this, make sure you're subscribed to me, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. Eventually, I'll start putting up regular videos here, but for right now, what I have time for is just live streams. Okay, Spirit for Debbie Hancock. Everybody else be looking out for what? For piggyback messages. All right, piggyback messages. Okay, so we're looking at Debbie Hancock. Message from Spirit. This can be past, present, or future. I don't put the time. Blah. I don't pick the tense or the topic. Thank you guys for all the likes. I appreciate that. And don't forget to share this video with somebody else who might like to have a little bit of a quick reading as well. Okay, Debbie Hancock, you have some confusion going on here. You might actually need a real reading from what I'm looking at, but you'll know if you need a real reading or not. By the way, guys, people are out there spamming like crazy. It seems like it's the new sport. So if you get somebody that reaches out to you and says, direct message me, I've got a reading for you, and they're trying to say that they're me, guess what? I don't do that. I don't reach out to you and say, I've got a reading for you, direct message me or contact me or whatever. I say, if you want a reading, reach out to me and I'll be happy to do that for you, but I don't chase you down, okay? So if somebody is chasing you down, trying to give you a reading, that is not me, no matter what they say or no matter how good the impersonation is. Just so you know, people are trying to impersonate me both on Facebook, here, Instagram, Telegram, all that stuff. So don't fall for it, guys. I assume that you guys are grown-ups, and if you want a reading from me, you know it, and you get a hold of me. All right, so what we have here is, starting with the stag, Debbie. We actually had this for somebody else earlier before you came in. The stag talks about somebody who has an influence in your life. This can be a significant other, a boss, a landlord, anybody like that, but somebody who has some authority in your life and impacts your life. And this is somebody who has high integrity. They have high standards. They expect everybody else to live up to high standards, but they also live up to high standards. And there's somebody that, you know, as long as you're living up to those standards, and they'll be very clear about them, as long as you're living up to those standards, or else you're talking to them if you can't about why, you're going to be just fine with this person. But if you don't live up to those standards, there's going to be issues, and they're going to let you know about them. It's not going to be like they're going to be passive aggressive about it. They're just going to be straight up about it. Great person to have in your corner, totally reliable friend, not going to throw you under the bus. You know, this is a genuinely good character to have in your life. So we have this person showing up in your section of what Spirit wants to talk to you about. Okay. Now, what is this covered by? Well, it's covered by my King of Vessels in reverse, which basically says, is this Debbie? I think you're really upset with this person. You're not happy with this person right now. Okay. Whoever this is that has authority in your life, They are genuinely trying to act on their integrity, but you're not happy with them. So maybe you guys aren't seeing things exactly the same way. Maybe your idea of integrity is one thing and theirs is another. You're coming at it from two different angles, but you're not happy with this person. They're not a bad person, but you guys certainly are not on the same page. Hello there, Alicia. Glad to see you back. All right, so best advice or heads up around this situation. This looks to me like you guys are partners. You guys could be romantic partners, so this could be your romantic partner that you're not thrilled with, but you could also be another type of partner. Like this one could be somebody you're partnered up with in business, or this could be a really good friend, someone who's important to you, okay? Now, look at this. You're not happy with the person, but the partnership is intact. That's a good thing to notice here. This partnership is intact. I think what's going on here is you're really thinking about, am I in the right partnership? Should I even be in a partnership? Am I supposed to be together with this person? We have really different values. Does it even work for us to be partnered up in any way whatsoever? This is an interesting card to come up with because it doesn't go into all the reasons why. But when this card comes up, right ways up, this talks about I'm making a decision that there's no turning back from once I make this decision. Whichever way I go, once I've made this decision, there's no turning back from. Okay? When this comes up in reverse, I think that you've made a decision about partnering up with this person, whether you've signed a contract with them in business or whether you're married to them or whatever. I think you've made a decision about partnering up with this person. And now you're thinking, can I back out of that? Should I back out of that? Because I'm really upset with that person. Are we even compatible? Our values aren't the same. The problem is, this was a decision that there was no turning back from originally. How are you going to do that after the fact? This is going to be chaos and craziness if you do. Now, the last card that we have coming up is the Mirror in reverse. The Mirror in reverse says that I'm really confused about something. I'm really confused about where I can go and be appreciated and who's actually going to appreciate me the way that I am, with my values, with my integrity. Where do I fit into things? Because you're feeling like, well, we're not really compatible. I don't fit in this partnership. I think that you thought this partnership was the ideal. It was peachy keen. That's what you thought at one point. And now you're really questioning, is there a partnership that I fit into? Do I stay in this partnership? Will there be any appreciation if I stay in this partnership, or do I look for appreciation for who I am outside the partnership? Is that even a part of the partnership deal? There's all kinds of questioning going on. There's all kinds of confusion here. All right. So that's what Spirit is talking to you about, and just asking you to be aware of this, not to try to handle it on autopilot, but to really think this situation through so that you can figure out what direction you need to take or what direction you want to take. What direction is the most healthy one for you to take? What direction is going to have the best results? Because typically, we as humans sort of handle things mostly on autopilot. So sometimes Spirit will bring something and just stick it right in our face to say, how about we shift it into an actual manual gear here and figure out what we're doing, rather than just going by habit and reflex. So that's what we have for you, Ms. Debbie. I'm sure hope that's helpful to you. Jennifer, glad to see that you're here. That means you are safe and sound. You're quite welcome. Quite welcome. All right. So let's see, we've got 7 in the room, 11 thumbs ups. Thank you guys for all the thumbs ups. Woohoo! Remember to share this video with somebody else who may benefit from little readings like this. Let's see. 7, we have 8 in the room. Number between 1 and 16, I'm writing down right now. I'm putting a circle around it. Whoever puts that number in the chat first will be the next person that I read for. You guys, this is the ideal time to practice your intuition. Oh my goodness, Chanel, I didn't even know you were in the room. And you got it right off the bat with a 15. Chanel. All right, honey bunny, do you have a question for me today, or are we looking at a message from Spirit for you? A question. Okay, go ahead and pop your question in the chat. Look at that. I thought for sure Jennifer Davies in the house. She's going to win the next one. She's always the first one with the right number. Her and Cheryl Ford are both really good at this. Now there's a new contender. Someone else who taps in really well. Okay, let's see. Was Chanel. Well, we've got a couple of. That's two different questions. The generational curse is one thing, and an entity inhabiting the home is a whole other deal. Okay. Has Chanel been successful in breaking the generational curse in her family? Boo-ba da doo doo, boo-ba da doo, boo-ba da doo doo, boo-ba da doo. Well, let's see. What do we have here? Here's what I will tell you. My cards are saying that it is not broken. That's why I was putting down extra cards, because I was thinking, well, is it not broken because there was never really one to break? No, there is a generational curse that needs to be broken in your family, but this is not broken. And then I asked if you have laid the groundwork for breaking it, and it came up as no, although you have done some stuff towards it. There's still more work that actually has to happen here. Now, let's look at some of this. When I ask if you've actually broken it, the cards that we start off with are the 5 of Swords in reverse, which talks about this idea of creating peace, creating an end of struggle or an end of frustration. Okay, so the first thing that I'm seeing is you've managed to create some kind of peaceful space where the things can be looked at more objectively when we have peaceful space. If we're right in the middle of the drama, we can't see it. We're right in the middle of it. You know, it's like being in the middle of a load of washing in the washing machine. We can't see the walls of the washer. They're there, but we can't see them. Same way, once we're in the middle of drama, we can't really see it all. But you've managed to create some space so that you can actually identify what's happening just by creating a little bit of peace. Okay? Now, I think that there's something going on there, that there's some confusion around what it's attached to. Now, Six of Vessels talks about reunion. I think whenever you've created this piece that's allowed you to see the drama a little bit that needs to be dealt with, that also allowed you to bring people into communication that maybe weren't in communication before, which is good, right? Now, you have the wheel that says that you've done some of the behind the scenes work. That's what I say. When the wheel comes up, it talks about good fortune. A lot of people call it luck. I don't really believe in luck. I think we not to be too cynical, but we create situations for ourselves, whether they're good or they're bad. We create them for ourselves. So when the Wheel of Fortune comes up, I think it comes up because we've done the creative work to get it to come up so that we can take advantage of those opportunities that are in front of us. So it looks to me like this is very good that you've been able to get people together that wouldn't have gotten together before. This puts things in a position where when opportunities come up, they can be fully utilized in a healthy and productive way. Now, we have our Page of Arrows in reverse, which talks about understanding metaphysical things, and it talks about learning new metaphysical things, diving into them, diving into what I call secrets of the universe. In this case, this says do your research. In other words, there's more research that needs to be done around what you're considering the root cause of this, because there's some confusion about what has actually caused this generational curse. And so there's some research that needs to be done around what really caused this generational curse, and some research that needs to be done around this idea of how do I actually break this curse? And that's going to be energetic. So you've got dual requests for research here. And we have the Five of Vessels showing up in reverse. Now, the Five of Vessels in reverse says don't pretend things are okay when they're not. That's also part of your advice. Part of the advice here in breaking this generational curse is to not just paste on a smile and pretend like everything's okay, because that's what everybody has done before you. Maybe they didn't know what to do. You have the resources now to figure out what to do. So don't pretend everything's okay when it's not. It looks to me like you've started some really valiant work to be able to help your family and your progeny, but you're not done yet. It feels to me actually like you have managed to cut off the tip of the iceberg, and now you're going to be finding out more about what you need to do to eradicate the rest of the root of this thing. You're quite welcome. Thank you for asking that. It was a nice question for me to sink my teeth into. Callie's like, ooh, I like what is that? I can't think of it. The crystal ball. All right, so, well, this will definitely teach you to do it, Chanel. All right, let's see. Let's do one more. The next one, just because Callie brought up the crystal ball, the next one I'm actually going to read my crystal ball for. All right, so let's see. We have 6 in the room. We're going to pick a number between 1 and 12. What did I not already pick earlier? Okay, number between 1 and 12. Whoever puts that number in the chat first will be the next person I read for. Well, you guys are guessing. Really? Anna Philippa, you got it. I was just going to say, while you guys are guessing, I'm going to go get my crystal ball, but Anna has already taken it away. So Anna, do you want a message from Spirit, or do you have a specific question for me? And I am going to get my crystal ball. The reality is that you can read any crystal, but since I have a crystal ball, we may as well use it, right? Message. Okay. Let's see what we have. Well, what do we have? What do we have? What do we have for Anna Philippa? What would you like to talk to her about today? What I'm seeing here, Anna, is that you have a lot of things going on in your life, a lot of things that you're trying to juggle and to handle and to keep moving forward. And what's interesting here is that some of the things that you're doing don't really help you meet your goals or feed into, like, not everything that you're doing has you going in the same direction. And it's time to kind of be aware of what direction do I really want to go and making sure that everything that you're doing is aligning and going in that direction. Okay, so say that you want to have this family and so many kids or whatever. You want to do things that are not going to hold you back from, meeting the right person for that. Or if you have this career of, I want to be the first one to come up with the next biggest scientific discovery in microbiology, you want to make sure that you don't have other goals that you're working towards that are holding you back from that. But I'm seeing that you have some things that you're working on that directly intersect each other, so that if you were successful in one, it would completely cut off the other and vice versa. So it's time to start really figuring out what do you want to prioritize and start working in that direction so that all things are in alignment. Do things that feed so that whatever you're doing towards one goal feeds into the other goals as well, and vice versa. Right? You do have a lot. I would say you have a lot just from looking at this. But you want to get it all going the same direction. And maybe you can work towards all of these same goals with some adjustment so that one isn't cutting off the other. But you do want to be aware that everything is pointing you in the same direction or in the direction that you want to go, which doesn't say, the message that's coming through isn't saying forget about some of your goals. It's basically saying do things that are in alignment with all of them, not that are going to chop down other ones if you're successful in that one. It's something to think about and consider. All right, so that's the last message for today. I've been here for an hour. You guys, if you want to get a private reading with me without all the spectators in the peanut gallery, then feel free to reach out to me. All my contact information is on my website, which is in the description box below, www.amista.info. Also, if you go there, you can sign up for my newsletter. I do predictions for every single sign, every single week. So if you're into that type of stuff, you may like my newsletter. I also do this crazy thing I call Ramblings of a Mystic. It's very random. It's whatever's on my mind. So if you're into that type of stuff, you may want my newsletter. But you can also see all the different services that I offer. Of course, I do recorded readings. I do live readings. I do Reiki. I do house clearings, all kinds of good stuff. So you can check it all out there. I even have some classes. And yeah, I'll be looking out for you guys back on the next video. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the thumbs up or hit the bell button so you'll know when I go live again. And all of y'all, thank you for being here. Thank you for keeping me company, and have a fantastic week. Peace out.